Hello and welcome back to day 3. This is day 3 in a 3-part mini course called Heal. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos, be sure to go back and watch them before you watch this one. Today is called Free, and it's all about freeing emotions from the body. Now, your body holds within it every single emotion that you have experienced in your lifetime and not fully processed. So yesterday I explained that emotion is just an energy, and it's energy in motion, so it's supposed to keep moving, but we often don't fully process emotions. We don't release them because we don't know how to. We've never really been taught how to do that, especially when we were younger, and it's very natural to try and avoid emotions, things that don't feel good, things that feel difficult. So if we don't fully process and release and let go of emotions, they stay energetically within our body. And you can imagine the impact that this has. Years and years, however long that you've been on this earth, worth of emotions that haven't been fully processed. Can you imagine the impact that that has on what manifests in your life and how you feel within your body? So today I really want to explore that and explore going into the body, feeling into the body, so that we can start to connect more to that feeling of emotion in the body and work on freeing emotions from the body. So emotions that have been stuck there for many years from our past experiences, but also having that awareness so that you can move forward knowing how to process and release emotions that come up. So our body is very intelligent, right? It's more intelligent than we probably give it credit for. And emotions are the body's way of giving us messages. So emotions are messengers. They don't just come out of nowhere. The body is telling us that something is out of alignment, something needs to be dealt with, needs to be processed, or it could be that you're not on the right path. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance every single day on the path that you're in life, whatever that is, and you're feeling a lot of emotions come up and it's not easy, it's not flowing, these are messages that perhaps you are not on the right path, or perhaps you need to go back and do some healing work. Essentially, this is a message that we need to change our perspective. And this could be our perspective of what is happening in the moment. So it could be something on the surface. If you're resisting something by having negative thoughts about it and it's not deeper, it's just something on the surface, like it could just be a chore, for example. And when you have to do that chore, you end up feeling anger or boredom or frustration. That could be a surface level emotion. So it's just as simple as reframing how you view that chore. But then what we're really talking about today is the deeper stuff. So you can start to get to know when emotions come up, whether it's something that can be dealt with on the surface, or if it's something a lot deeper that you need to delve into to release and to deal with. And this all comes down to perspective as well, because it comes down to the original perspective that you had of this event and the belief that you created. So the stuff that we spoke about yesterday. So this belief that you created has caused you to hold on to this feeling and this energy and not process it and not let it out of the body. So this whole process of healing is really about creating space. If you think about yourself energetically and you think about all of the stuff that you're holding on to that you haven't processed, unknowingly, probably unconsciously, when you're holding on to this stuff and you haven't processed it, and there's this stuck and stagnant energy in the body from past experiences, past traumas, you don't have any space within you energetically to go deeper into the good feeling emotions. So the emotions at the top of the scale, like joy and love and freedom and all the stuff that you really truly want to feel. If you don't have the capacity energetically, you're not going to be able to fully step into those emotions. Now you might feel them, but they're going to be conditional. So you're going to feel them when something happens. So it's outside of you. And the level that you go to in those emotions is going to be so much lower than the potential. So even if you've experienced joy and you've experienced freedom and love, when you start doing this healing work and you release and make space by releasing the old, stuck, stagnant, negative emotions, or the emotions at the bottom of the scale, you're going to be able to go so much deeper into the other emotions. So when I say the scale, there is actually a scale of emotions, which shows you the emotions that are very low vibration, so low energy emotions, and then the emotions at the top of the scale, which are high vibe emotions, the ones that you want to feel. And when you're in those emotions, you're very magnetic and you're more likely to attract what you want with ease. So it's important to realize that these emotions at the bottom of the scale are not bad. They are more uncomfortable. They're the ones that we don't want to feel, but you have to get used to feeling all of these emotions on the scale, because at some point or another, you're going to feel the emotions at the bottom of the scale. But the exciting thing about doing this healing work is when you fully embrace the moments that you're feeling the emotions at the bottom of the scale, and you learn how to feel them properly, and you learn how to release them and do it, you feel them with intention. So you don't wallow in that feeling, you don't berate yourself, you don't see it as a negative experience necessarily, but rather you welcome it, because you know when you're feeling that, it's a message, and it's a message from your body that you need to do something and you need to release something. And when you do, when you intentionally feel, let go, release, do whatever healing work you need to do, you're gonna be able to then go so much higher on the emotional scale and more often. And it's going to happen randomly as well. It's not going to be because of an outside circumstance. It's going to be created from within you. It's going to be just, I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling love, I'm feeling freedom because I'm here, I'm living. And that is a wonderful place to be. So all emotions are normal. It's about learning to deal with each level of emotion. I like to think of it like exercise, right? So when you exercise, often it can be painful and uncomfortable. Now, this is like when you're experiencing the emotions at the bottom of the scale. It can be painful, it can be uncomfortable. However, you know that once you've gone through that process, that you're going to be able to reach a high. So the high comes after the discomfort and the pain or the struggle. You know, you have to push yourself often when you're exercising through a bit of discomfort. But you know at the end of it, the more that you push yourself, the more that you embrace and accept that moment, the higher you're going to be at the end of it, and the more potent the results are going to be. So the stronger you're going to get, the more resilient you're going to get, the more empowered you're going to feel, the more you're going to fall in love with yourself. This is the same as healing. When you learn to deal with those emotions that are at the bottom of the scale, you know, the difficult stuff, when you learn to deal with it intentionally and you release, when it happens, you release and you let go and you do all of the stuff that you're being introduced to in this course, the highs are going to be so much higher. You're going to become so much stronger. You're going to be more resilient. you're going to experience so much more. So a trigger is something that happens to you when you feel a strong emotional response to something, but the event doesn't really align with your response. So you feel really overwhelmed with emotion or really strong emotion, but what's happened was probably quite small. When you're triggered, this is a big indicator that you need to go back and do some healing. So the best way to deal with triggers is to go into the body and really feel that emotion, feel where it is, and try and connect to the first time that you felt that way. And this is why this embodiment work and going into the body is so important, because it's going to give you the messages and the clues to work on healing and reframing whatever it is that you need to heal from the past. So this work within the body, this is about embodiment, and this is about coming out of the mind and into the body. And the reason why embodiment is so important, and you probably hear this word quite a lot, is because embodiment is all about the subconscious, and the subconscious is what rules our life. The subconscious is where the beliefs are held. So all of these limiting beliefs are held as energy in your subconscious, in your body. So when you start doing this body work, this embodying and this releasing from the body and tuning into the body, you're working with the subconscious. And this is where the reprogramming really happens. This is where you manage to reprogram your automatic responses and reactions and your beliefs and your mindset. You can't do that from the mind alone. That would be great if you could just think a few positive thoughts and reprogram your life and what you believe and how you feel, but it all is within the body. So this is why this embodiment work and this understanding of how you're holding things in the body and the act of releasing them is so important. And it's also important to know that the body is very intelligent, as I said in the beginning, and sometimes you can just release without needing to know what it is that you're releasing, and really you don't need to know all of the details because your body knows what you need to release. So if you're using some of the release techniques that I'm going to talk you through, all you need to know is that you're intentionally releasing, and you can let your body do the rest. Sometimes you're going to be working on a specific issue and a specific trauma, in which case your body's going to know that. It's going to be releasing something related to that. But sometimes you might just feel a strong emotion and you need to do something to cleanse yourself and to free that emotion. And you don't necessarily have to analyze every single emotion. So physical release techniques are the way that you can release this stuck energy from the body. And the best combination, I guess, is to use breath work, movement and sound, but you can use just one of those, it's still going to work. But when you have the three together, it's really potent, and that's the best way really to release any emotion. But it totally depends on where you are at the time. So any kind of movement, any kind of expression with intention is going to help you, but the more energy there is behind it, the more transformational it's going to be, the more you're going to be letting go of. So if you really go all in with these techniques, you're going to get the best results. In today's workbook, there are some of these techniques outlined. I'll just give you a brief overview now. So if you were feeling a lot of anger around a situation, for example, screaming out loud or screaming into a pillow if you're in somewhere where you don't want to make a lot of noise, punching a pillow, this kind of thing. This is like sacred rage. This is how you release that emotion and you don't keep it pent up in the body. Using your breath as well is incredibly powerful. So breath work in general with the intention to release is going to be incredibly powerful. Really focusing on the out breath is a great way to kind of push emotion out of the body. We're going to go through that technique a little bit in the meditation today. So one of the techniques that I use. Also, the reason why we're doing so much journaling is because journaling is a really great release of emotion and the energy behind emotion, and getting that stuff out of your body and onto paper is a way to create space, and it's a way to process it. Also, if you have somebody you can talk to, talking about things is so valuable. You just need somebody who can hold space for you, who you trust, to talk things over, and it's amazing what this can do, just letting it out and releasing it from the body. The important thing is with this work is to always be doing it intentionally. So when you're going back to your past and back to these experiences that were traumatic, you might be journaling on it, you might be talking about it. Don't do that from a place of being the victim. Sure, you may have been victimized, but there's a difference between being victimized and then stepping into the role of the victim. So you've just got to be careful to do it with the intention to release and let go and process, and not get pulled into becoming the emotion and becoming and identifying with what happened to you. So today you're going to be practicing a lot of what I've just spoken about in the workbook and the meditation. I really hope that you get something out of this and that you continue to heal, because the more that you heal, the more space you make for those really high vibe feelings to come into your life, and stronger feelings, stronger high vibe emotions, and the more space you're also making for your desires to come into your life. Healing is all about making space. So I really hope that you start to manifest some incredible things, and I'm always here if you have any questions at all about this or anything else. Thank you so much for joining me in this course. I will see you very soon.